How's it going, everybody? It is Ethan, or Unknown Coder. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Build Twitter. We are in episode 48. In this episode, we have to go ahead and validate the phone number as well as debug one of the small issues that persisted in last episode, where whenever you select something from the dropdown, it didn't actually change the value inside that dropdown box. So let's go ahead and hop into VS Code and I'll show you guys how we set this stuff up. So we left off in the last episode with a small bug here. So we need to go ahead and fix this first before I forget about it and we just keep kicking the can down the road. So the issue is going to be right here inside of the value on the actual select element itself. So instead of just saying value equal to here, we're going to want to go ahead and do is we're going to want to go ahead and add one more piece of state here. So data and set data, and then we're going to equal to use state, and this is going to be a string, and this is going to be empty for the time being. So the issue that we have here is that we're only using the default value. We never actually change it to the value of the data. And maybe there's a point later on down the road that I'd planned to change this, but I wanted to make sure I get this fixed first. Essentially, we're just going to turn this into a ternary statement. So we're going to say if there's data, we use data. Otherwise, we use the default value and save. And now if we go ahead and come back into our code here, now, if we change this, you should see it didn't change. Oh, we never set the data. So now whenever we actually change value, we'll also go ahead and say set data, data. And let me make sure this says data, set data. And this will be e.target.value. And as soon as we change the data here and save, now it should work, I imagine. So let's see now. There we go. Now it stays the way it should. I still need to fix the CSS. That'll become a little bit later. But I wanted to make sure I fixed this changing. That way it isn't completely broken. So now back to the regular scheduled programming. So now we need to go ahead and validate the phone number. So I'm just going to go into the services, which are down here, into our validators. And let's go ahead and make a validate phone. So export const, and we'll go ahead and call this validate phone, just like so. And this is going to take in a phone number as a string and return a boolean of yes or no if it's valid. Again, this is some regex that I kind of yoinked from the internet because I'm not good at regex. So we're just going to go ahead and say phone.replace. We're going to replace backslash like this, and we are going to get rid of everything but 0 through 9 essentially. So we're going to say up, we're going to say 0, it's not 0, -9. We're going to have another backslash. Actually, I want to actually use the right slashes, slash, and then this is going to be global. We're going to replace those with empties. So this is just going to get rid of everything instead, except for 0 through 9. And then we're going to return stripped.length is equal to 10. So again, we're not really doing anything crazy. We're just kind of seeing if there's the right amount of phone number or phone number digits in there. So now let's go ahead and add that validation to register form 4. So now let's add another piece of state. We're going to call this const. It'll also just say valid phone or valid number and set valid number. This is going to equal to use state. This will be a boolean, and it'll start out as true for the time being. Then as soon as you type in it, it'll change. So we also need to go ahead and import our validate phone, like so, and that's good to go. So now inside of our use effect, we're going to go ahead and say if there is a phone number, maybe if there is a phone number, we want to go ahead and say set valid number to validate phone with that phone number. So as soon as we start typing in there, it's going to go ahead and make sure that that number is valid and good to go. And it won't be valid until we actually have 10 digits. So let's go ahead and also create a error code for us. So underneath of the validated text input. Let's go ahead and do some curly braces. We're going to say valid number. I'm going to say valid number. And so if it's a valid number and yeah, okay, it's fine. We don't need that. So we'll say valid number. If it's valid, we won't return anything. Otherwise, we'll say p class name equal to, this will be reg dash step dash 4 dash invalid. Another one of these that we could probably just export into a global CSS file. Please enter a valid 10-digit number. Okay, and now finally we need our next button. So let's go ahead and input or import our styled next button like so, and go ahead and put it at the bottom of the page. This is going to go inside of the content but outside of that next or the group check. So we'll go ahead and have our styled next button, and we're going to say first disabled. So we only want this enabled if the phone number, if there's some value inside the phone number and the number is valid. So valid number, true, false. So again, what this is saying is we only want this to be enabled if both of these are true. And I did this backwards. This should be false and this should be true. So if either one of these is false, we'll go ahead and disable it. Next, we want the color just to be black because this is the default color for, you know, not, I guess, making a GET request or not doing something. And then next, we'll go ahead and say active is going to be, once again, phone number and valid number again, valid number. And this one will be true, false. And then finally our on click, we will set up in a little bit inside of our slice. So for now, we'll just do console.log and we'll say update phone on DB. Cool. And then we'll say update phone or update number is what it says on Twitter. So now we should have everything that we need technically. So we need to style this. Obviously, it doesn't look the best. We'll fix in a little bit, but you can't click on it until we have a valid number. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see that it's valid now. We need to fix this. That's fine. We inspect, go to console, click enter, phone number on DB. And then if we go like this, you can't click on it because it's disabled. So that's working as expected. Unfortunately, that's going to be it for today. If you guys enjoyed, please stick around for the next episode by hitting that subscribe button. You'll know exactly when it comes out, especially at that bell icon. If you did enjoy the content today, please sure to leave a thumbs up. If you did enjoy it, leave a thumbs down. Either way, it helps out with the algorithm all the same. And finally, if you have any suggestions or feedback for me, make sure you leave a comment down below. With that being said, I appreciate you all for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode. Peace out, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.